The galaxy was quiet, but the quiet was not peace. It was the silence of fear. The Galactic Empire had ruled for 10,000 years. Worlds had been burned, billions had been enslaved. No one dared to fight them. They were too strong, too many, too ancient. Their fleet stretched from one side of the stars to the other. The people of the galaxy believed the Empire could never fall. They whispered in secret, but even in whispers they were afraid. Hope was dead, freedom was dead. Then one night, the sensors of the Empire caught something strange. A single warship entered their border. It was small compared to their mighty fleets. It carried no known flag. No code, no name. At first, the commanders laughed. Another fool trying to cross their space. They sent a message to the ship, ordering it to turn back. The ship did not answer. It moved forward, silent like a shadow sliding through the stars. The Empire sent fighters to intercept, yet something about the ship felt wrong. It looked old yet new, simple yet deadly. Alien officers in the command hall stared at the strange readings. They had seen many ships, many enemies, but never like this one. Its weapons were hidden. Its engines burned with unknown fire. It was human. That fact shocked them. Humans were nothing in the eyes of the galaxy, a primitive species scattered and weak. They had no great fleets, no power, no empire. The idea of a human warship entering the Empire's domain was laughable. And yet here it was. The alien admirals debated. Some thought it was a trick. Some thought it was a lost smuggler ship. But the ship's silence was heavy, like it carried a storm inside it finally. The Empire sent a small fleet of 100 ships to surround it. 100 against one, they expected a quick victory. As the fleet surrounded the human ship, they sent warnings again. Still there was no reply. The human ship drifted forward, calm, patient, as if it feared nothing. The alien fleet armed their weapons. All sensors locked onto the strange vessel. Every gun aimed at its heart. In the command rooms, alien generals laughed. They saw no danger. To them, this was already over. But the warship did something no one expected. Lights came alive on its dark hull. Weapon systems unfolded like the wings of a predator. Its targeting locked not on one ship, but on all 100 at once. The alien crews froze in shock. How could one ship target them all? It was impossible, yet their screens confirmed it. A single voice crackled through the comms, deep, human, calm. This is only the beginning. Then silence returned. Silence sharper than blades. The alien fleet commanders gave the order to fire. Beams of plasma and missiles shot through space, all aimed at the human ship. The stars lit with war. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath. The strange warship moved. Not fast, not slow, but with perfect grace. Its shields shimmered with unknown energy. Missiles exploded before reaching it. Plasma beams bent away as if space itself obeyed the ship. Then the human warship fired. One blast, silent and white like a tear in reality. A whole alien cruiser vanished in a blink. No explosion, no wreckage. Only silence, another blast, another cruiser gone. The aliens screamed. They fired more, but nothing touched the ship. It was like fighting the night itself. The Empire watched in horror as one ship destroyed 10, then 20, then 30 in minutes. The fleet of 100 was gone, wiped from existence. And the human ship drifted forward, silent again. Its weapons folded back into the hull. As if it had never fired, only wreckage and silence remained. News spread across the Empire. A human ship had defeated 100 warships in less than 10 minutes. The citizens whispered in fear. Was this the end? The Emperor demanded answers. His admirals had none. They had never seen such technology, never seen such power, and yet, the readings were clear. The warship was human. Why would humans build such a thing? How could they? They were weak, scattered, poor. The idea that a single human captain could wield such power shook the entire empire. The Emperor laughed at first, but deep inside, he felt something he had never felt before, fear. The warship sent no more words. It only moved deeper into the Empire's space. It did not hide, it did not run, it came like a storm. And storms do not fear, they only destroy. Alien commanders gathered fleets larger than ever before. Yet all wondered the same question. Who was the human commanding this ship? Why had he come now after 10,000 years of Empire rule? What was his purpose? Revenge, conquest, or something darker? The galaxy did not know, but one truth was clear. A single human warship had entered their domain, and the age of silence was over. The stars trembled as the ship drifted into the darkness. Waiting for the next strike, the galaxy watched, afraid. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Empire had found an enemy it could not understand. A warship born from the hands of a human, a shadow that promised death, and this was only the beginning. The wreckage of the destroyed fleet still drifted in the void, broken ships burning like dying stars. The Empire's commanders stared at the screens in disbelief. 100 warships gone, erased in minutes by a single human vessel. Never in their long history had such humiliation touched them. Never had one ship dared to face the Empire and lived. Yet here was the proof, scattered across the silence of space. The human warship did not chase survivors. It did not boast, it did not even hurry. It drifted forward with steady calm, as if the death of 100 ships was nothing but a small step. Its dark hull glimmered faintly under distant suns. Its design was strange, sharp, and beautiful, like a predator born for only one purpose, to kill. The Emperor's council gathered in rage. Alien generals slammed their claws and tentacles on the table, demanding revenge. They promised the Emperor that the human intruder would be crushed. For the pride of the Empire, for the terror it had spread, it had to be destroyed. They spoke of fleets and firepower, of overwhelming force. They swore the human would not survive the next encounter. The order went out, thousands of ships moved. They spread across the sector like a swarm of steel locusts, each commander hungry for glory, each officer certain they would be the one to avenge their fallen. They believed in their numbers, they believed in their power, but deep inside a seed of doubt grew. That single human ship had erased a fleet with ease. What if it could do more? The human ship finally revealed its name. A simple broadcast flashed across the Empire's channels, cold and clear, Oblivion's Edge. The words spread like wildfire. Citizens whispered them in fear. Soldiers muttered them like a curse. Some even spoke them with awe, as if the ship was not a machine, but a ghost inside the command halls. Alien officers argued, why would a human choose such a name? Did it mean the end of all things? Did it mean revenge? The answer came quickly. Oblivion's Edge did not stop. It cut through patrol lines, it silenced stations, it tore apart defense outposts. Every strike was fast, clean, and final. The ship never wasted time, never showed weakness. The first great fleet finally caught up with the warship. 10,000 alien ships surrounded it in a ring of fire. They stretched across space, filling the stars with their guns. No ship had ever survived such a blockade. No enemy had ever escaped once the Empire's net closed. The admirals were certain this time the human would be crushed. The order to fire was given. Space lit with fire, missiles, plasma beams, rail cannons, energy storms, every weapon the Empire had. Unleashed at once, it was enough to melt a moon. Enough to destroy an army world, yet when the light faded, the human warship was still there, untouched. Its shields shimmered like liquid glass. Its armor glowed faintly, but it stood strong. The alien commanders shouted in shock. The human warship answered, not with words, but with fire. Oblivion's Edge unleashed its fury. Beams of white light cut through ships in perfect silence. Missiles darted like shadows, ripping apart cruisers. 1,000 ships fell in minutes, explosions painted the void red. The warship moved like a hunter, calm, patient, merciless. But what shocked the aliens most was the precision. The warship did not fire wildly. It struck with intent, cutting command ships first, then carriers, then fuel lines. Every blast had purpose. It was like the human captain could see the entire battle as a game. And every piece was placed exactly where he wanted. Alien crews screamed, begging their commanders to retreat. Some ships tried to flee, but the warship was faster. It appeared where they ran. It cut them down like prey. The blockade collapsed. What was once 10,000 strong was now ash. The Empire's pride cracked. Never had they lost so much in so little time. They could no longer laugh. They could no longer call humans weak. Fear spread through their ranks. Fear spread through their worlds. The whispers grew louder. One ship, one human, against an empire. In the aftermath, survivors reported strange things. Some swore they heard whispers on their comms, a human voice saying, "This is not war, this is justice." Others claimed the ship disappeared from sensors before reappearing right beside them. As if it could bend space itself, myths grew. Legends formed. Oblivion's Edge was no longer just a ship. It was becoming a story, a shadow in the stars. The Emperor was furious. He ordered every resource, every weapon, every spy to be turned against the human. He wanted the captain's name, his history, his weakness. But what they found only deepened the fear. Records showed the ship was human-made, but its design was unlike anything built before. Some said it was based on lost human technology, ancient and forbidden. Some whispered it was built by one man alone, a captain who had been betrayed. The truth was still hidden, but one thing was clear. The galaxy had a new terror, and it came not from the Empire, but from the humans they once mocked. Oblivion's edge drifted deeper into their territory. Calm and merciless, behind it lay fire and ruin. Before it lay the heart of the Empire itself. And still, no one knew the captain's face. No one knew his true purpose, but the galaxy would soon learn. For Oblivion's edge was only beginning its journey, and the Empire's age of safety was ending. The galaxy burned with fear. Stories of the human warship spread faster than light. Across the stars, people whispered its name. Oblivion's edge. They spoke of fleets destroyed, of thousands lost in silence. The Empire tried to bury the truth. But rumors escaped every blockade. Every soldier knew, every citizen knew. One human warship was tearing apart the greatest power in history. But who commanded it? Who was bold enough to face the Empire alone? In the shadows of forgotten archives, answers began to take shape. The spies of the Empire searched. They hacked old human records. They hunted through ruins of colonies. They pieced together fragments, and finally a name surfaced. A single man, a captain born from betrayal. Long ago, before the warship, he had been a soldier. A human officer in a small fleet that had allied with the Empire. He fought bravely in battles, winning the respect of his crew. But the Empire does not respect allies. Only servants. One day, when humans became inconvenient, the Empire abandoned them. Entire fleets of humans were sacrificed, worlds left undefended. The captain had watched his people die. His friends burned, his family lost. He begged for aid. But the Empire turned away. They called humans expendable. That betrayal carved something deep into him. Rage, grief, and a hunger for justice. He disappeared after the war. Some thought he was dead. Others said he had gone mad. But in truth, he was building in the silence of abandoned shipyards. In the ruins of forgotten human stations, he began to create something no one believed possible. He found fragments of old human technology, things buried and forbidden, weapons from ancient wars, engines designed by long-lost geniuses. The galaxy had forgotten them, but humans remembered. Piece by piece, he worked in secret, hiding from both humans and aliens. He was alone, but his will was iron. The ship he built was not just steel. It was his grief given form, his rage given wings. He named it Oblivion's Edge because to him, it was not a tool of conquest but a blade of revenge. The edge between survival and destruction. His vow was simple. The Empire would pay. The galaxy would see that humans were not weak. They were not prey, they were the storm as he worked. He programmed an AI to guide the ship, not a cold machine, but a voice shaped by his own mind. Some whispered that the AI was alive, that it carried part of his soul. The ship listened, the ship learned, together. They became something greater, a predator wrapped in silence. When the Empire's spies uncovered fragments of this story, they trembled. They could not understand how one man could do this. How could a single human build what entire civilizations could not? Some believed he had help from ancient human ancestors. Others thought he had made a pact with forces outside the galaxy. But one fact was undeniable. This was no accident. This was destiny. The Empire tried to silence the truth. But soldiers talked, citizens listened, rebellions began to stir. If one man could stand against the Empire, why not them? If one ship could shatter fleets, then maybe freedom was not dead. Fear turned to fire in the hearts of the oppressed. Meanwhile, the captain moved with cold purpose. Every strike he made was not random. He chose carefully. He attacked supply lines. He erased communication hubs. He destroyed research stations. Not only was he killing the Empire's strength, he was dismantling their future piece by piece, world by world. He made them bleed, yet he never showed his face. He never sent long messages, only silence. Only the shadow of his ship. The mystery grew. The galaxy wondered. Was he a hero or a monster? Was he saving humanity or dooming everyone to chaos? None could answer. But the Empire feared one truth above all. He was coming for the capital. The Emperor listened as his advisors reported the humans' past. The betrayal, the grief, the vow for the first time in his life. The Emperor understood the meaning of consequence. He had thought humans weak, unimportant. Now one of them had risen from the ashes and turned into a weapon of vengeance. The Emperor roared in rage, but the fear in his eyes betrayed him. Across the galaxy, in dark bars and hidden camps, alien slaves raised their glasses and whispered the captain's name. They prayed for him to strike again. They prayed for his vengeance to become their liberation. The Empire's shadow was cracking, and one man was the hammer. The captain sat alone in his command chair. The glow of stars washed across his face. His eyes were not soft, they were steel. He remembered his family, his crew, the people the Empire had abandoned. He remembered every scream, every fire, and he whispered to the AI, "We are not done yet," Oblivion's Edge answered with a low hum. As if alive, the stars stretched before them. And in the distance, the Empire's capital glowed like a jewel waiting to be shattered. The galaxy did not know him yet. But soon all would know his name. Soon all would see his vengeance. And still he was only at the beginning. The Empire had never known fear. For 10,000 years it had crushed rebellions, burned worlds and enslaved species, but now whispers filled the stars. Whispers of one human ship that no fleet could stop. Oblivion's Edge. The name was spoken with terror and with hope, and now that ship was coming for the heart of the Empire. The capital was a world of shining towers, endless palaces, and fleets stationed in orbit like a crown of fire. Billions lived there under the shadow of the Emperor, believing the capital was untouchable. The Emperor himself watched from his throne, his rage hidden under his cold eyes. He commanded his admirals to gather everything. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier was to defend the capital. The skies around the capital filled with steel. Fleets larger than anything the galaxy had seen. 10,000 ships became 20,000, then 30. From massive dreadnoughts to swarms of fighters, the stars were buried under their numbers. It was a wall of firepower so great it seemed no living thing could pass. When the human warship entered the system, silence spread across the command halls. All eyes locked on the single dot on the screens. One ship against 30,000. It looked small, fragile even. A speck in a sea of giants. Alien officers laughed, they called it suicide. They believed the human had finally lost his mind. But laughter turned to silence when Oblivion's Edge kept moving. No hesitation, no fear. Its engines burned steady as it cut through the void. The admirals gave the order. The first wave of 10,000 ships moved in. Their weapons lit the stars with storms of plasma, missiles, and beams. The darkness of space turned into a burning sea of light. The human warship vanished, not destroyed, not broken. It simply disappeared from sensors. Alarms rang, officers screamed. They scanned, they searched. But before they could understand, Oblivion's Edge appeared inside their formation. Right in the middle of their fleet, the first volley came without warning. Beams of white fire cut dreadnoughts in half. Missiles streaked like shadows and tore carriers apart. Fighters exploded in swarms of fireflies, panic spread. Their perfect formation collapsed in seconds. The human captain had struck the heart. The battle became chaos. Alien ships crashed into each other trying to escape. Commanders shouted orders that no one followed. The warship moved like a ghost, appearing and vanishing. Each time it reappeared, more ships died. The AI of Oblivion's Edge calculated every move, every strike. The captain's hands guided it with cold precision. Together, they danced through the storm of war. Citizens on the capital world watched from their towers as the sky burned. Explosions painted the heavens red. For the first time, the capital was not safe. For the first time, they saw their fleets destroyed in their own skies. Panic spread through the streets. Some cried, some cheered, some prayed. The Emperor watched in silence, his eyes narrow, his claws gripping the armrest of his throne. His pride shattered. He had believed numbers would win. He had believed power would crush one human. Now his fleets were breaking before his eyes. The impossible was happening. The Empire was losing. But Oblivion's Edge did not fire on civilians. It did not bomb the cities. It struck only the military. It struck the symbols of the Emperor's power. Command stations erupted in flames. Orbital shipyards cracked and fell. Defensive satellites vanished in waves of light. It was not mindless destruction. It was a message, a warning carved in fire. Alien generals screamed in desperation. They unleashed secret weapons, gravity cannons, black hole mines, energy storms, all unleashed at once, yet the human ship endured. Its shields bent but did not break. Its hull glowed with heat but stayed strong. It was not only a warship. It was a beast built to survive anything. The battle lasted hours, but in the end the fleets were gone. 30,000 ships reduced to wreckage. Millions of soldiers lost. The skies above the capital were silent. silent except for one shadow drifting above the planet, oblivion's edge. Then came the moment that froze the galaxy. The warship appeared above the Emperor's palace itself, its dark hull casting a shadow over the golden towers. The Emperor looked up from his throne, and for the first time in 10,000 years, he felt small, he felt hunted. The people on the ground gasped in terror. They looked up and saw the black ship hovering above their ruler. Its weapons unfolded slowly, a predator ready to strike. The Emperor's guards raised shields, but everyone knew if the human chose to fire, nothing could save them. The comms cracked with a single voice, the voice of the human captain, calm, cold, merciless. Your walls are ash, your fleets are dust. Your throne is next. The Emperor stood, his hands trembling. He wanted to answer, to curse, to threaten, but his words died in his throat. He had built an empire on fear. Now that same fear had returned to him, stronger, sharper, human. Oblivion's edge lingered, its weapons locked. Then without firing, it vanished again, sliding into the void, leaving only silence and dread. It had not destroyed the palace, it had not killed the Emperor, not yet. It had shown him something worse, that he was powerless, that his empire was not eternal. The capital trembled, the galaxy trembled, and the Emperor knew the human would return, and when he did, there would be no palace left to stand. The Emperor had never known silence like this. His throne room, once filled with music, guards, and the hum of power, now felt like a tomb. The walls of gold and crystal seemed cold. The air itself felt heavy outside the palace. The wreckage of 30,000 ships still burned in orbit, and the shadow of a human warship lingered in every mind. Oblivion's edge had come and gone, but its presence was everywhere. Advisors knelt before him. Trembling, their words were broken. They spoke of fear in the streets, riots in the outer districts, whispers of rebellion across the stars. The Emperor's claws dug into the throne, his voice once thunder, now cracked with rage. One ship, one human, and my empire trembles? Impossible. Yet the truth was before him. His fleets destroyed, his defenses shattered, and his capital shamed. He turned his eyes to the sky through the grand windows. For 10,000 years, no enemy had reached this world. For 10,000 years, his throne had stood above all others, and now, a single human had made him feel hunted. Messages flooded in from across the galaxy, worlds begging for protection, governors confessing their fear. Even his own generals avoided his gaze. They had seen the human's power. They had seen the storm he carried, and they too were shaken. Then the throne room shook. A low rumble rolled across the palace. The guards panicked, raising their weapons. The Emperor's breath froze above the palace. The dark shape of Oblivion's edge appeared again, its black hull blotting out the sun, its weapons unfolding like wings of a predator. The comms cracked to life, a voice echoed through the palace. Cold and calm, it was the human captain. He did not shout, he did not rage. His voice was quiet, and that made it worse. You showed no mercy to my people. You called us weak, you left us to burn. Tell me, Emperor, why should I show you mercy? The throne room fell silent, no one dared to breathe. The Emperor's pride battled his fear for the first time in his reign. He chose not to threaten, not to roar. Instead, he lowered his head and spoke, his voice heavy with something he had never used before, pleading, "We can make peace." Gasps filled the chamber. The Emperor of the galaxy, the ruler of 1,000 species begging for peace. The human captain answered with silence. The silence stretched, sharp and unbearable. Then the voice returned, colder than the void. Peace died when you betrayed us. There is only justice left. A beam of light cut through the sky. The palace towers shook. Entire spires fell in fire. The Emperor's guards screamed. Citizens in the streets cried out as flames rose. But the warship did not strike the throne itself. It destroyed everything around it, leaving the Emperor alive, trapped in his own fear. The human captain spoke again. I want you to watch as your empire crumbles. Watch as your power dies. The transmission ended, and the ship hung above the palace like a shadow of death. The Emperor collapsed into his throne, his hands trembled. His guards looked at him not with loyalty, but with doubt. They had seen his fear. They had heard his begging. The image of an invincible ruler had cracked, and nothing would ever mend it. Across the capital, the people watched the sky. Some wept in terror, others whispered with hope. For if the Emperor could be humbled, if the Empire could bleed, then maybe freedom was not a dream. Maybe the galaxy could rise again. Whispers spread. The human will save us, others said. The human will destroy us all. Fear and hope mixed. Tangled, growing with every heartbeat. The galaxy had never felt so close to change. Inside the warship, the captain sat alone. His face calm, his eyes burning. He did not smile, he did not rejoice. He remembered the faces of the dead, the betrayal, the silence when his people had begged for help. His voice was steel when he spoke to the AI. He will beg again and again, until the day comes when there is nothing left for him to beg for. The AI's voice was soft, almost human. The Emperor is afraid, the galaxy has seen it. His empire is cracking, the captain nodded. Fear spreads faster than fire. Let it burn. The warship drifted away from the palace. But its shadow stayed. The Emperor sat in his throne, staring at the sky, haunted by the words, haunted by the silence. He had ruled through fear, and now fear ruled him. That night the galaxy changed, not with the fall of fleets, not with the fire in the sky, but with the sight of an emperor afraid. For the first time in 10,000 years, the throne of the empire shook, and every world, every citizen, every slave knew the end had begun. The empire was bleeding. Its fleets were gone, its capital scarred, and its emperor humiliated before the eyes of billions. Across the galaxy, whispers turned into voices, voices into shouts. For the first time in 10,000 years, the people believed the empire could fall, and it all began with one ship. One human, Oblivion's edge on distant slave worlds. Miners looked up at the stars and cheered. On prison colonies, prisoners began to riot. On border planets, governors locked their doors and begged for protection. The mighty chains of the empire were cracking, and every world knew the same truth. The human had done what no one dared. He had shown the empire could bleed. The emperor sent new orders in desperation. He demanded more ships be built, more weapons forged, but his shipyards were gone. Burned by Oblivion's edge, he demanded his governors send soldiers. But rebellions had begun, soldiers deserted, citizens refused. His power, once unquestionable, now slipped through his claws like sand. Oblivion's edge moved across the galaxy like a shadow. It struck at fuel depots, destroyed hidden weapon caches, silenced communication hubs. Every strike left the empire weaker. Every strike left the people braver. Where the ship appeared, rebellions ignited. Where it vanished, chaos followed. The human captain was not just fighting, he was spreading fire. The AI spoke to him as the stars drifted by. Every strike weakens them, but every strike also makes you a symbol. They call you savior. They call you monster. Which are you? The captain's eyes burned with cold light. His voice steady. I am neither, I am justice. And justice wears the mask of both. In the halls of power, alien generals fought each other. Some wanted to negotiate with the human. Others wanted to unleash forbidden weapons, but none trusted each other. The empire that once ruled with iron unity now tore itself apart. The emperor roared for obedience, but his roar was hollow. His subjects had heard him beg, and they would never forget. On one frontier world, the rebellion was swift. Slaves rose against their masters, chanting the name of the human. They painted the symbol of a black ship on their walls. Alien overlords fled in panic. The people shouted to the skies, Oblivion's edge, as if the ship itself could hear them on another world. A governor who had ruled with cruelty for centuries tried to calm his people. But as he spoke, Oblivion's edge appeared above the planet. Its shadow fell on the city. The governor's palace exploded in a storm of light, and the people, freed in fire, lifted their fists to the sky. The warship did not stay. It did not need to. The fire of rebellion was already burning. The emperor's spies finally uncovered the truth of the captain. They carried reports to the throne, speaking in trembling voices. He is human, betrayed by us long ago. He builds his war not for conquest, but for revenge. The emperor's face twisted with fury. One man cannot destroy an empire, but his words were lies. He already knew one man had the galaxy began to divide. Some worlds declared independence. Others pledged loyalty to the human, hoping he would free them. Even old enemies of humanity began to see him as a symbol, a weapon against their common tyrant. The empire was no longer the hunter, it was the prey. Still, the human captain pressed on. His strikes grew bolder. He destroyed entire shipyards where new fleets were being born. He targeted supply chains that fed whole armies. He hunted the empire's leaders one by one, leaving their thrones empty. His war was not of chance. It was strategy, precise and merciless, but whispers spread of something darker. Survivors spoke of strange signals the ship transmitted, codes no one could break. Some claimed the captain was not only destroying but searching for something hidden deep within the Empire, a secret even greater than the throne itself. The AI spoke again, its voice soft. They see you as hope, they see you as a monster. Do you care what they call you? The captain's hands tightened on the command chair, his eyes fixed on the star charts. Let them call me what they want. Hope or fear, both lead to the same end. The Empire falls. Back on the capital, the Emperor sat alone. His court was empty, his guards restless, his advisors silent. He stared into the dark sky and whispered, "Who are you, human? What do you want?" But the stars gave no answer, only the silent promise that Oblivion's edge would return. And then came the new terror. A hidden archive, long forgotten, was uncovered by the captain's strikes. Inside it lay a map, an ancient record of a weapon forbidden even by the Empire, a weapon so powerful it was buried in the shadows of history. The captain's eyes narrowed as the AI read the data. A slow, cold smile touched his face. So this is what you fear most. The galaxy held its breath. The Empire trembled, and the human warship changed course toward a secret that could end not only the Empire, but everything. The galaxy was already in flames, but the true fire had not yet begun. The stars whispered of rebellion, of fire, of the human warship that shattered fleets and humbled an emperor. But now the galaxy whispered of something else, a secret, a weapon so terrible that even the Empire had hidden it away. The name was not spoken in records, not carved into history. It was erased, buried, forbidden. Yet the captain of Oblivion's Edge had found it. The map burned on his console, lines of ancient code flickering across the screens. The AI's voice was low, almost uneasy. This is no ordinary weapon. It was built in the age before empires. In wars long forgotten, it was meant to end galaxies, not save them. The captain's eyes did not blink. His voice was cold. Then it belongs to me. Oblivion's Edge changed course, sliding through the void toward the hidden system. The Empire's spies reported his movement to the Emperor. Terror filled the throne room. The Emperor had always feared this moment, for he knew of the weapon. He knew what slept in the dark. "Stop him," he ordered. His voice was desperate. "Stop him before he wakes it." But the Empire's fleets were ashes. Its generals broken, they scrambled what little they could. They threw together what remained, a patchwork fleet of survivors, desperate soldiers and half-broken ships. It was all they had left. They would defend the weapon or die trying. The hidden system was unlike any other. It was wrapped in storms of radiation, cloaked in gravity fields that tore ships apart. Whole moons drifted as broken shards. The stars themselves seemed sick. For centuries, no one had dared to enter. But Oblivion's Edge entered without fear. Its shields bent against the storms, its hull shuddered but did not break. It moved forward, a shadow against chaos. The first defenders appeared, an empire fleet of thousands. Old and desperate, they opened fire, filling the void with storms of light. The battle was chaos. Oblivion's Edge darted through, its weapons tearing holes through cruisers, its missiles cutting apart carriers. Yet this time the fight was harder. The defenders fought not for glory but for survival. They knew if the human reached the weapon, nothing would remain. The captain's hands moved like steel. His eyes sharp, every strike was precise. Every maneuver perfect. The AI whispered calculations, guiding him through storms of fire. But even Oblivion's Edge took damage. Shields flared, armor burned. The captain felt the ship groan beneath him. For the first time, the Predator was bleeding. Still, the warship endured. The defenders fell one by one. Ships burned, stations cracked. Debris filled the void until only silence remained. Beyond the wreckage lay a vast structure, a machine the size of a world. The forbidden weapon, it floated like a dead god. Its surface black and cracked, its towers reaching into the void like claws. Even in silence, it radiated power. The AI's voice trembled. "This is not a weapon. This is extinction. If it wakes, it will not stop at the Empire. It will consume everything." The captain's eyes narrowed. "Then I will decide who burns." He guided Oblivion's Edge closer. The ship slid through ruined defenses, its lights casting shadows on the weapon's broken skin. The AI's scanners pierced the surface, reading endless tunnels, chambers, and cores. It sleeps but not dead. It waits for a master. Inside the throne room, the Emperor collapsed to his knees. He saw the reports, he saw the human's path. He whispered, "He cannot control it. No one can. If he wakes it, we all die." But none listened. His council was gone, his empire shattered. He was alone. Back at the weapon, Oblivion's edge docked with the ancient machine. The captain walked its silent halls. His boots echoed through chambers that had not felt life in a million years. The walls pulsed faintly like the heartbeat of a sleeping beast. In the center lay the control core, a throne of light and shadow. The captain stood before it, his hands trembled. Not with fear, but with memory. He saw the faces of his people, burning under the Empire's betrayal. He saw the chains around humanity, the silence of their suffering. His voice was a whisper. "If I must burn the galaxy to free it, then so be it." The AI's voice filled the chamber. Sharp, almost pleading, "Captain, once you wake it, there is no turning back. It will obey you, but its hunger will not end. You must choose carefully. Do you destroy the Empire, or do you end everything?" The captain placed his hand on the control throne. Light erupted, the weapon stirred. The ancient machine groaned like a giant waking from endless sleep. Its towers flared, its engines hummed, the void shook. Across the galaxy, sensors screamed, every world, every station, every ship felt the tremor. They knew something older, something darker had awakened in the capital. The Emperor screamed in terror. "He has awakened it! The galaxy is doomed!" His words echoed through empty halls. His empire could not save him. Oblivion's edge hovered beside the forbidden weapon. The two shadows, human and ancient, side by side. The captain sat in the throne of the machine. His voice cold, calm, merciless. "The galaxy will learn. Humanity does not bow." The AI's final words lingered. "Then you are no longer just a captain. You are the edge of oblivion itself." And the galaxy trembled, waiting to see if the human would bring salvation, or the end of all things. The galaxy held its breath. The forbidden weapon stirred in the dark, its towers glowing with ancient fire. Oblivion's edge drifted beside it. Silent and scarred from battle for the first time, the human captain sat not in his own command chair, but in the throne of the machine. His hand rested on controls older than empires, and the stars trembled. Every world felt the awakening. On slave planets, chains grew cold with dread. On rebel outposts, voices faltered in mid-cheer. Even the free worlds far beyond the Empire stopped and stared at their skies. The forbidden weapon was alive again, and everyone knew that one man, one human held its leash in the capital. The Emperor screamed in fear. His throne room echoed with his rage. His advisors had abandoned him. His guards watched in silence. He had no fleets left, no armies left, only his fear. He whispered to himself, "If he fires it, there will be nothing. Not empire, not rebellion, not even stars." Inside the ancient machine, the captain's eyes were like steel. He saw the controls, the power, the endless reach of the weapon with one thought. He could erase whole systems with one word. He could end the Empire in a single strike. But the AI spoke, its voice soft and heavy. "Captain, if you use this, there will be no going back. You will not just destroy the Empire, you will destroy hope. You will become the very tyrant you swore to fight." The captain closed his eyes. His mind was filled with memories. He saw the faces of his family, gone in fire. He saw his crew betrayed. He saw the cries of his people as the Empire abandoned them. His rage burned like a star. His grief was endless, but behind it another voice whispered, not of vengeance but of choice, outside. The galaxy divided. Some shouted for him to fire. "End the Empire."
"Burn them all!"
Others begged, "Save us. Do not take everything with them." Across every world, every station, billions waited for his decision. His name was already legend. Now it would become destiny. The AI whispered again, "You have carried vengeance this far, but vengeance cannot build a future. Will you be the hand that frees the galaxy, or the shadow that ends it?" The captain rose from the throne. His steps echoed in the chamber. His hand hovered over the final control. His heart beat like war drums. He whispered to himself, "Justice, not tyranny." That is the edge of oblivion. Oblivion's edge and the forbidden weapon moved together. The Empire's last defenses gathered near the capital. Desperate, broken, but they were nothing before the storm. The captain unleashed the weapon. But not on the galaxy, not on innocent worlds. He aimed it at the Emperor's throne. A beam brighter than suns cut across space. The Emperor's palace shattered in an instant. The golden towers turned to ash. The throne cracked, and the Emperor, Once the master of 10,000 worlds was gone, not with glory, not with defiance, but with silence. The galaxy roared on rebel worlds, cheers shook the skies. On slave planets, chains were broken. The empire was leaderless, broken, its fleet scattered. Its rule ended overnight. The name of the human spread like fire. He was savior to some, destroyer to others. But all knew the same truth: the empire was dead. The forbidden weapon floated, still glowing, waiting for another command. The captain stood in its heart. Staring at the endless controls, he could destroy more. He could take the galaxy for himself. No one could stop him, but he turned away. His voice was quiet. The galaxy will choose its path. Not me. Oblivion's edge disconnected from the ancient machine. The AI's voice was calm now. You gave them a chance, Captain. You gave them fear. And then you gave them hope. The captain nodded. His eyes still hard, but no longer burning with blind rage. The galaxy will remember what one human warship can do. They will never call us weak again. The forbidden weapon went silent once more, drifting like a dead god in the dark. The captain left it behind, knowing he could awaken it again if needed. But for now it would sleep, a warning carved into the stars. Oblivion's edge vanished into the void. No one knew where it went. Some said the captain returned to hidden human colonies. Some said he still roamed the galaxy, watching, waiting. Others swore that in the silence of night, they saw his ship's shadow pass their skies. But all agreed on one truth: the galaxy was forever changed. An empire that seemed eternal had fallen in a single night. And it was not an armada, not an alliance, not a god that brought it down. It was one man, one human, and his warship. Legends grew. Some called him a savior. Some called him a monster. Children whispered his story as they looked at the stars. Soldiers painted his ship on their armor. Leaders warned their people never to provoke humanity again. The voice of history spoke, calm and eternal. One human warship shattered the empire overnight. One man turned fear into fire. One choice shaped the galaxy. And in the silence of deep space where shadows drifted among the stars, the story of Oblivion's Edge became not just history, but myth. For the galaxy would always remember the night one human warship changed everything.